podcast live episode again this week. We are dropping something live to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. So sharing is caring. If you can hear my voice, you should be hitting the share button. I think that I have something decent to put out there today. Then my topic is going to be called Believing in Yourself, because if you don't, then who else will? And you should know yourself. So somebody said, well, what's the difference of those two? And I'm going to get into it. But knowing yourself and believing in yourself will be two different challenges that you and I have to overcome as we become an entrepreneur. But first, we're going to pay the bills and get the bills out the way. So if you have never heard of it, hey, I got 2 books out. That is called Got Clientele and Got Hustle. Those books are something I recommend for small business entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs, those that are out trying to make a living and trying to understand how to get, grow, and keep clientele, as well as how to manage the business, because sometimes you have to be ruthless in your entrepreneurship to keep the business under control. You cannot let the business control you, but you must control the business. So don't forget to log into co-createnola.com and check out the newest book we have as well. Got Schemes. That is one of my favorite books right there, because it talks about hustling in today's digital time and digital age, giving you a new mindset, showing you that your capabilities and possibilities with social media is endless as well. I'm saying social media, I just mean the internet in general. But it is endless. It is a lot of things that we could be doing to hustle. And I recommend that you try to read that book within a 2 to 3 day period and get fired up and get motivated to keep on going. So you're listening to the podcast show. I'm Cash Parrish. Now, why should you listen to me? I've been in entrepreneurship since I was 16 when I took my first business class in high school at LC Forshey High School. So I've been through the ups, the downs, the profits, the losses, the wins, the fires, the burglaries, the hiring, the firing, the hurricanes, whatever you want to talk about, online, offline promotions, marketing, business development, branding. I have a little bit of experience in almost every category. Sat at the head of a board of a nonprofit as the president, as well as been the entrepreneur and owner of my own business. So I kind of have like 25 years better in entrepreneurship. So I think I'm worth listening to if you've never heard of me and this is your first time. So I appreciate you taking the time to check in and get with me. So now that the bills are paid, I told you who I am. Let's dive into it. So believing in yourself. Now, this is something that's going to be a challenge for a lot of us. We have to know our value. Now, one of the things about value, see, when you have something that you consider valuable, you protect it more. You cherish it more. If somebody give you a book sack that's a Gucci bag, you might say, oh, this is very valuable to me. You might give that same book sack to somebody else who's not into name brands. That's not valuable to them. So when you understand value, you're supposed to protect that value, cherish that value, and hold that value. But this is the thing. Do you know yourself? Do you know if you're valuable or not? And how do you know so? Have you been validated? Now, somebody said, well, what's validation? Well, validation, you're going to have to decide on what's the validation for you. So let's say when I was in the tattoo industry as an artist, if I posted a picture or shared my picture online of a tattoo that I have recently done, somebody look at that, that's a client, and say, that's a nice tattoo. That's dope and all. Appreciate it. Thank you. But if another artist will write me and say, Cash, hey, bruh, I like that tattoo you just did. That thing's smoking. That would be greater validation for me. Now, I'm not saying that's greater validation for you, but peer-to-peer validation is awesome. That is one way to know, do you really understand marketing? Have other people in marketing told you you're great at marketing? Do you have a business that's some kind of app development company, and you have created phenomenal products, and other app developers, engineers, data scientists, other people like that have told you you're doing a good job? You can have validation from peer to peer. Now you can also have your validation from your customers. I've serviced this many customers. I've gotten Google reviews. I have these customers to leave thank you cards, stop by on Christmas, give me Christmas gifts. My people love me. But you and I have to have validation in some form or fashion. Otherwise, we could be living in a delusion. Now, Somebody said, well, why are you saying that? Because it's too many times that people will not charge what they're worth. They will not go for the gusto. They're too scared because they believe, I believe, you believe that people won't pay it. That's too expensive. It's usually too expensive to people who don't understand value if you've been validated. Now, if you have all the greatest, I don't know what you do for a career, but if you have all the greatest podcasters in the world saying, I like your podcast show, and they telling you that, but you scared to say, well, look, my podcast show is I can't just put you on the next episode. I can't just open the doors and let you get in. I have to ask you to earn a spot. If you charging for a sponsorship and you don't want to charge what the bag costs, why don't you want to charge what the bag costs? Because you believe that a company won't pay it? That's because you don't believe that what you're bringing to the table is worth what you say it's worth. Now, somebody said, well, is this supposed to help me or tear me down? It's supposed to enlighten you to open up your mindset to say, what is my worth? And am I charging what I'm worth? Because there are times that we don't charge what we worth out of fear. But the validation is supposed to get us to the point where we can say, nah, man, I've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. This is the industry standard rate, and I'm better than standard. I'm above the standard. I'm greater than that. Then you can start to say, hey, look, I should be validated because I know myself. I know what I'm worth, and you can't tell me no different. But we're going to dive into it now. And thank y'all for joining me. Sharing is caring. If you're feeling value in this podcast, don't forget to put this podcast out there and let other people hear it. Sharing is caring. So I'm going to keep on going because we got some other things we need to talk about right now. Now, personality, characteristics. You and I have to come to the realization of who we are. And I'm going to be talking about who we are because there's many times that I sit down in meetings with people that's trying to do business, that wants to be the CEO, the head of the company. They may have a fabulous idea, but I'll be wanting to tell them entrepreneurship is not for you. Now, if you tell somebody that, they think you're hating. But sometimes you have just been around long enough to realize you do not need to practice this subject. You do not need to be involved in this. It's not up to me to tell you. You're going to have to come to that realization on your own. But let's give the example. When I talk about personality and characteristics, they are things such as, what's the word I want to say? Personality traits or characteristics. When you define in psychographics, when we're doing marketing, we have to define a person persona. We have to break them down and understand who that person is so we can reach them through messaging. Every message won't fit every customer. Every customer won't fit in every segment. So once we understand these things, we divide them up and we put them in separate groups based off of psychographics, demographics, geographics, right? So I'm saying those things to say when you're thinking about the psychographic, there's things like introvert and extrovert. Now these are personality characteristics. I wouldn't hire a person. So let me slow down. Let me say that I wouldn't hire a person who is introverted if I needed a salesperson. Now, that person say, I need a job. Why you won't hire me? Because characteristically wise, you're not built to run your mouth and talk to these people. You're more recluse, more laid back. So why am I saying know yourself? Because personality traits and characteristics are real. This is not a figment of your imagination. I'm jumping ahead of myself. You know, there's people that have an analytical mind. There's some people that have a creative mind. Some people have a blend of those two. Well, when you are a person like that, you may not be able to, people say, well, that's analysis paralysis. They have some people that is just in their character to analyze things. They have some people that, man, why are you that way? I can't believe you act like that. Introverted, extrovert. We going to the mixer. Go pass out your business cards. Some people, I'm not going to talk to them people. Some people won't get on stage and promote their business and talk in front of a crowd. They not built that way. So why am I saying business may not be for you? Depending on what type of business you and I are trying to open, you may not be built that way. Again, personality characteristics are real. This is not a figment of your imagination or my imagination. Trying to get you to stop doing something or start doing something when there's innate characteristics. Now, let me spell that word, INNATE, innate, meaning you was born with that. That's who you are. That's for you to try to stop doing something that you was born with is going to be next to impossible. Somebody said, why that? Because see, why do you have a podcast show? Because I talk. That's as simple as plain. I'm a talker. I talk. I don't necessarily need nobody to come in here and give me notes of something to talk about. I can talk for hours, but it's not because I'm trying to. That's just who I am. Anybody who knows me, if you see me being quiet, it's probably because I'm peeping game, watching the scene, don't trust somebody, don't know these people, how they get down. I don't like how they rock. I'm observing. But outside of that, once I get to know you and we jam or we gelling or this about business, you realize he talks, and you can't shut him up. That's innate. I was born that way. So a podcast show for me, easy peasy. Live video, easy peasy. Rapping, easy peasy. That's what I do. So I'm saying you have to understand when you're building a company, you want to make sure that when you're hiring, you don't hire just the first person that comes through the door. You and I have to go through a process to say who will work well with the team I'm trying to build. No, we don't want everybody to be the same. We don't want everybody to do the same thing. But when it comes down to nature, that's something you're born with. Come down to your features, inherent characteristics. What am I saying? I'm saying if you start to think about it, you and I could try all day long not to do and talk and act like our parents. But eventually, as we get older, as we mature, we start to see our parents' features come out. We start to say things they said growing up in the house, talk like them, act like them, because that's who we are. Well, Cash, are you saying people can't change? I'm not saying that, but I'm not in the business of changing people. I'm not in the business of going against people's nature and characteristics because I know that's innate. I know that it's inherent. I know it's a psychographic makeup and I know it's real. Now, you can ignore it if you want to, but your business will be out of business because you don't have the budget to change the mind of the people. What your goal is, look, if somebody falling for a scheme, that being gullible, they've been gullible. It's very rare that you take a person who's analytical and run a scheme on them because they analyze too much. You need a gullible mind. You need a person who is a soft-hearted so you can run a scheme on them. A person who's cold-hearted, they wouldn't give a bum a dollar on the corner. It's hard to get them out of 10 because they wouldn't let go one. So I'm trying to tell you, when people find a mark, when they find a marketing or a market, when they find somebody to target for a Ponzi scheme, they doing it based off of psychographical makeup. They doing it based off of more than the outer appearance, and that is Cash. You got to know your worth. When you understand who you are, then you don't try to do jobs you can't do. You don't try to play roles and positions that you are not built for. You know why you and I will feel inadequate, why we will have less confidence, because we don't really feel like we belong in that position. Somebody said, well, that's called, what is the, I can't think of the terminology right now, where people feel like it's impostor syndrome. Man, you can't have an imposter syndrome of something that's innate. You won't have imposter syndrome of something that's inherent. Man, I don't know if you could talk good as I could talk. Bruh, look, it don't matter if I could talk as good as you could talk. I could do damn good at talking because that's what I do. I'm not trying to go to school for a field that I have no interest in because my mom said go to school for this. I have an analytical mind, so I would study data analysis, market research analysis. That's just who I am. I'm not going to study social media. I don't have an interest. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't spark my mind. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get these things out to say we have to stop trying to fight the DNA and let the DNA just win and roll with the DNA. You can't fight against yourself. That's going to be critical. If you are sitting in the entrepreneur seat and you feel less confident, what part of the confidence don't you believe? Did you skip steps? Because a lot of times people like to skip steps. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to deviate for a second. A lot of times people come up with an idea, never owned a business before, and jump off the porch and put all the eggs in the basket and go for it, you know? Now, should they do that or shouldn't they do that? I can't tell you that, but I could tell you when you didn't put in the work, you don't know the industry, you don't know the people, you don't know the staff, you don't know the sales, you found nothing and you decided you're just going to sell whatever product, and last week you was working as the garbage man, this week you CEO, you're probably going to feel inadequate because you didn't put in the time. You didn't go after something that you believed in because it was natural and organic, you know? So I'm saying that to say you can't run away from yourself. You can't fight yourself. Once you know who you are, you get in alignment with that. I'm not going to try to be the next person. Man, Cash, can you rap like him? No, I can't. You know why? Because I rap like me. I do everything like I do it. I'm unique in my own right. Those things set you apart. Confidence, you can't give me confidence. I'm trying to give you the confidence to do this. You can't give that to me. Because once we dealing with a subject that is a subject that I'm on, a subject that I'm in, I'm building confidence in my own self. You can't wait for somebody to slide past you and say, man, you know what? Somebody say, well, I thought you said validation. The validation was to prove what you should have already known. You should have already known and believe I was good, but somebody else said, hey, that's good. But it didn't make you good. The work made you good. Oh, can I say that in another way? Taking a test does not make you fail or pass. Taking a test validates whether you know what you said you knew. Testing you to see if you can withstand the obstacles. And if you do, you're proven, you're validated. That's what they call branding. Branding, Cash, how you mean that's what they call branding? I'm saying when you get a brand is something that does the same thing over and over and over. People believe that because I have a logo and I have a certain colors that I like to wear, the black shirts in my videos, that's part of my brand. Yeah, that's part of it. That's the aesthetics. I keep talking about demographics. So liking that in brand development, that's the external. What about the internal operations of a business to be consistent to produce the same results over and over? When you could produce the same results over and over, you could build a franchise, a global business, a nationwide company, and you could do it with confidence. You can stand in front of startup entrepreneurs and request angel investors, big time firms to invest in your company with confidence, because you know we have a way to reproduce this system, this process, these sales over and over to a global market. We just need the funds to do it. Confidence, because we've already been doing it. So the Shark Tank people do not try to give you confidence that your product can work. They looking for sales. They looking for processes. They looking that it's already happening, branded, proven, structured. Because now somebody said, well, no, they help you grow. They help you get bigger. Yes. But how many times do they say, man, that's a good product. You got 0 sales. I think we should invest in that. You don't know what you're doing. First time CEO, been doing it for 3 weeks. Good. They don't do that. They look for something that is validated. And that's what I'm trying to say. If you believe you are worth $1,000, don't let somebody pay you $100. When you sit around here and you have put in they say it takes 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. They say the average is 5 years to become an expert at something. Well, if you know you've been putting in the 5 years, 40 hours a week, you're grinding it out, you're knocking out. Let's say, for instance, you are a podcast producer. You are producing podcast after podcast after podcast. There should be nobody that can stand on the earth and tell you don't know how to produce a podcast after you've been doing it for 5 years, unless you're a moron. But that's about it. Typically, you learn something on that journey, how to do what, to mix it, to edit it, to chop it. Now, you may not know how to market it, but you damn sure should know how to produce it if you've been making them once a week for 5 years. And that's the thing I'm saying. You're going to have to know yourself. And when you know yourself, what you're not trying to do is convert. So let's say this too, because I'm jumping back and forth. I'm talking about knowing yourself, but at the same time, you got to know your self-worth, but you have to know your customer. Because if you have value for yourself, you don't spend your time trying to convert a budget buyer into a value buyer. What I mean by that, a person who buy cubic zirconias, CZs, they won't buy diamonds. They don't find no value in it. These things glisten just like those things. They can't eat. Their eye can't even see the difference. I have many fights with people over Android versus Apple. We have many fights over that. Man, but look how smooth the screen is. I literally can't see it. I wear glasses. There's no extra added value in 1080p versus 4K to my eyes. I don't find extra value in that. I got astigmatism. It's impossible for me to see that clearly for me to say, woo, I got to have that for another additional $1,000. So I'm saying I would be considered a budget buyer when it comes down to shopping for phones. Don't try to sell me a $2,000 phone. It's not happening. I just need it to work. I barely can see like that. So I'm saying those things to say I'm adding that sense of humor in it. But when you talk about purchasing a car or something, I'm going to try to give you more examples. Purchasing a car, renting a car. Look, I'm looking, my wife like, man, let's get this truck. I'm like, hey, slow down. What's the MPG on that? You know what I'm saying? And she like, she's not concerned with that. She will spend her money all and then spend my money all if I let her. But I'm saying, hey, look, I look at the miles per gallon. I want to know how far I can drive in this truck before I got to fill this big boy up. How many gallons does it take before it's full? What's the price of gas in the market? Because I don't want to have $1,000 monthly gas bill for all the driving that we do. But she don't, hey, man, we got it, spend it, you know? So there's two different mindsets. Those are two different psychologies. And I'm keep on talking about that because that is the essence of your value of you charging and what you can get. Now, it is okay to have somebody with you that is balanced. She wants a luxury vehicle. I want more of an economical vehicle. So we have to meet in the middle. So it's good to have somebody that balance you. But you have to know that that's your better half within reason. That person is there to say, look, now you being cheap. And I can say, look, now you being fancy. We can meet in the middle and try to find common ground with the projects, with the business, with entrepreneurship, with marriage, with whatever. You need a person like that on your team. But at the same time, you and I don't need somebody that say you can't do it because they can't do it. You and I don't need somebody that say you can't make it happen because I'm scared to make it happen, so we scared to make it happen. We don't need people like that. I don't spend time, and I'm going to say, I ask you, try not to spend time with people that you have to change. You're not in the business of changing people. You should be in the business of changing circles. Hey, look, bruh, I don't rock like that no more. I can't think like that. You know why a lot of us in the minority community don't get investors into our business is not necessarily that we don't have good business ideas because we black. We don't have connections. How many of us got the rich uncles, aunties to invest into our Kickstarter program or into our bootstrapping fund or into our Series A or Series B? We don't have that. We can't. How many of us can make a phone call and say, look, Pops, let me get 100,000. What Trump said, look, I got a small 5 million. How many of us can get a small 5 million from our daddy so we can start our own business venture? Not many. Shucks, hardly. It's very rare if any of us could get something like that. And that's what the point we're trying to make is you spending your time trying to get them to see what you see. Why don't you walk away from that circle and go hang out with people who see? See, with people who understand better, people who rock better. The reason why I don't do anything with you anymore, not because I don't like you, not because you ain't came up. You think different and I think different, and I'm going with the people who think like me. I need to be around analytical people. That's just the way it needs to work. Say, man, well, I thought you said you have to have balance. Yes, but if I'm trying to convince you to think how I think, then I'm spending my time not thinking. I'm spending my time trying to convert. We can't convert people who got innate characteristics. We cannot convert people who was born that way. You didn't have to do nothing for me to grow up in the same household with my siblings, my parents. I'm just me. I'm different. And guess what? That's same for all my friends. They grew up how they grew up. I know many people in the family who are polar opposite in their family. Like, man, you ain't nothing like your brother. You nothing like your daddy. You nothing like your mama. Yeah. That's not how I'm born. Even though we raised in the same geographical location, the same environment, something in them is making them different. And that's why I'm trying to express these things, because it leads you to the next stage. Know your customer. I've talked about it in a way to say know yourself, know your team, know your surroundings, know your customer. As of lately, I talk a little bit about myself to give clues. This is real to me, and I say this: seafood allergies. There's no reason that you spending time advertising, promoting for me to come to your seafood restaurant. I'm allergic to shellfish. It'll kill me. I won't come. I'm not gonna. Now my wife might go, but only if something's on the menu I could eat, like a piece of catfish or redfish or something. But if it's shrimps, oysters, lobsters, clams, mussels, caviar or calamari, stuff like that, iodine base, it's gonna kill me dead. I'm not. There's no reason you keep talking to me. You can't convert me because this is not something that could be converted. You can't change it. Why are we having this conversation? It's not gonna change. Trying to take a person who really practice pescatarian lifestyle and give them a cheeseburger won't happen. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. Not a real one, not a true one, not a true vegetarian. They're not about to eat that. So why spend your marketing dollars, time, and energy? Well, you ain't never had my burger. Well, if you had mine, you wouldn't do that no more. I bet you I could convert you. You know, when guys always say that the girls don't want to be bothered when they talking to the guy talk to them and they say, oh no, I'm lesbian, I'm gay. They be like, well, if you had me, I could change your back. Man, why you wasting your time, bro? Either she don't want to be bothered or she committed to that lifestyle. Man, well, ain't nobody, man, I know people used to be gay. I can almost guarantee they still on the low. They still on the low, like what they like, do what they do. You heard me? Now, you can spend all your days thinking that you have converted a person and you have tried to manipulate and change, but I'm saying the realities of the matter is most than likely it won't. So when you know yourself, you don't have to be worried. And I'm trying to say this in simplistic form. You go at your own pace. You know what I'm saying? Don't let somebody else tell you this is what you should be doing. This was man, Cash, pull a trigger, jump out there, go for it. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Go where? That's the questions you got to ask people. What you want me to do? Tell me a little bit about my business. Tell me about what I do. Tell me what my goals is. Tell me what my vision is. Tell me what my dream is. See, if you knew me like you think you know me and you think I should just go, you would have known I was an analytical mind and I'm not going to just go. So you wouldn't have called me and told me that. But I bet you can't tell me about my vision, about my dream, about my goal, about my company. So why are you sitting on the sideline trying to get me to jump off the porch? Don't do that. When people do that, you got to have confidence enough in yourself to say, I'm going to go at my own pace when it's my time, when it's ready for me. It can't be ready for the next man. You have to go and do it your way when you know who you are. You know what's best for you. I'm just trying to motivate you to say, man, don't let nobody discourage you. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody tell you you're wrong. Don't let nobody, when you know who you are, if you stop trying to be them and be you, you know when it's time to go. You know when it's ready. You know when you cooking a meal, somebody else might look in there and say, oh man, I would flip that burger over. Well, you like yours medium rare. I like mine's well done. I know what I like. I'm going to let it burn some more. That's what you do. You cook it up till it's ready. Now, ready for this person and ready for you, two different palates. I can't appease everybody and try to do everything for everyone. I'm saying that to say, so some clients you will have to turn down. They won't see the value. They won't see why they should pay for it. Some people you can't hire. They will not fit into your team. They will not be make you complete or make you whole. Some women, some men you can't run with. You can't rock with. All they're going to be there is to tell you how you not good enough, how you not great enough, how you didn't do this right, how you didn't. They don't see the fact that what you are is a real person with real being. It's a psychographical makeup that is unchangeable. So instead of trying to change me, appreciate me in the way that when I'm talking about appreciation, that's value. Appreciate me the way I am. And when you could appreciate me, then we could build something together, because you're not spending all day trying to change me or get me to do a job that I'm not designed to do. You're going to figure out what the job I'm designed to do and give me that task so we could build the business together, build the family together, build a relationship together, go hard together. But I'm no longer, man, your wife like this, your husband like that. That's just the way they are. Man, I wouldn't put up with that. That's you. That's how you think. But if you're going to spend all day trying to convert and change people that's unchangeable, then at the end of the day, you're not going to build the goals, the dreams, the visions. None of that's going to happen. And I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long enough time. Some people, you just have to say, man, we good friends, but I can't have you in business. Oh, no. Say I got friends that I done seen them do dirty things, and then, I'm still rocking with them because, that's how they get down to them. They wouldn't do it to me, and when it happens to me, your heart breaks. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't believe you did that to me. How they say, the snake was outside in the cove being frozen. The man picked up the snake, brought it in his house, put it by the fireplace, warmed it up, fed it. Then the snake bit him, and he said, man, what you bit me for? After I took care of you, fed you and warmed you up, saved you from debt. He said, I was a snake when you brought me in here. He couldn't change his nature. That's what he is, a snake. That's what they are. I know, Cash, people have the right to change and make a difference and go a different route. I mean, if that's what you want to believe. I told that to a friend one time. They said, well, what if your friend changed? I said, well, you roll with him. That was it. Since you trust them so much now, you take them in. You bring them to your house. You rock with them. For me and my people, I believe how your girl said, when somebody show you who they are, you believe them. Stop trying to see the hope in people and roll with the people who think like you, who rock like you, who get down like you, and you can make something happen. I can't give people ambition. I can't give them determination. I can't give them drive. I can't give them hope. All I could do is show them the same thing I see, and if they see it, they're going to get up and go. Like, man, we can make it. But if they don't see it, they're going to fall back and like, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I'm feeling sorry for myself. Boy, woe is me. Everything is always on my shoulders. I don't know. People don't love me. They won't buy my stuff. They're going to have a pity party. I don't believe in a pity party. I believe in a get up early, stay up late party. You dig? I tell people, I talked to my mother this morning. I get up about 5:30 in the morning. The latest is 6:30. I go till about 10:30. Some nights till 12 o'clock, but 10:30 is like my cutoff time because I get 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Because that's what I believe in. That's how I'm built. I don't set an alarm clock. I wake up. I just wake up. Somebody says, man, you need to get back in the bed. Why? Because you in back in the bed? Because you sleeping? I can't do it like you do it. And I'm not trying. Get your rest, player. Do your thing. Sleep on, old sleeper. That's what you want to do. Get your rest in. But I'm built different, and I appreciate how I'm built. You have self-love instead of self-doubt. You have self-appreciation, and I'm saying those things to tell you, I hope the things I said motivated you to want to look at yourself and get a chance to know yourself and stop trying to let people tell you who you are and who you should be. Appreciate who you are and drive your business based off of who you are and what you can do. Play the role you was built to play. Play the role you was designed for. Stop trying to play other people's roles. That's not for you to do. I don't put people who introverted on my podcast show to talk, on my Crescent City Connection show to talk. They're not talkers. I don't want to have to pull the conversation out of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to tell them I see greatness in them. If they don't see it, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I might see it, but until they see it, it does not matter. So I'm saying those things to say, hey, look, man, I hope I gave you some value. Don't forget, your man's got a book on sale. It's Got Schemes. It's the new journal. Check me out. Go to co-create NOLA.com and try to check that book out. And I would be ever so grateful that if you share this out, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to this message. If you're listening in the podcast world, you can always find these live streams and live broadcasts on our Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope channel. Vice versa, if you just want to hear the audio, go to every platform out there. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you on, I'm on. So go and check me out. It's Co-Create Digital on those platforms for podcasts, and you can find me coming, to earhole near you pretty soon. So subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube and Periscope if you still are on those platforms. And it has been an honor and a privilege talking to you all today. I thank you for listening. Join me again